Hello everyone, Chaos here, and welcome to another Oldschool Runescape video. The biggest update in the history of the game is set to release in under 2 weeks as of the time of uploading this, Oldschool's first new skill, Sailing. Jagex have been planning this for around 3 years, meaning a lot of information to digest before the big day. And today, we will go over the most recent requirements blog, as well as all the important additions the game will see pretty soon. Boys and girls, I'll be doing a 24-hour sailing livestream on November 19th, so for you not to miss that, click the subscribe button with notifications on, and you can join our Discord server to be notified when I go live and to train sailing with me and our lovely community. I know a ton of people and even Jagex themselves have already made videos on the topic, but I waited a little bit to give you all the information in one convenient place. Not only are we going through every piece of content being added to the game, but also give you a few tips of guidance when it comes to engaging with the new skill. So let's not waste any more time and dive right into it. The very first thing to know is that if you open the map and take a look around way near a coast, you'll quickly notice that sailing is already in the game, but not quite. Last week, Jagex did what's known as a technical pre-release, which means adding most of the content coming on November 19th. Except of course for ships and being able to interact with anything until release day. This is to see how the game behaves with everything added to it, and give them some time to fix things if needed. This means that we won't have the usual downtime we have for big updates, which is massive, and in UTC time, the game will go down at 8 AM for a brief moment. We will be able to log back in immediately after or within a 15-minute wait period, as Jagex runs the final checks for about 2 hours. At 10 AM UTC, Jagex will unlock sailing, and we will all be free to start embarking on our new skill, changing the game forever. For those of us who are maxed, we have until November 18th to enjoy our Maxscape and its perks. When the worlds are back online, and despite not being able to train sailing yet, we won't be able to equip the Maxscape and its variants. If you have it equipped, it will be unusable or it will be unequipped for your account. There will be a way to retrieve whatever cape you combined with it to be able to use that instead, but you will not be receiving the Maxscape itself. The first bit of preparation we can talk about is that you could get another Infernal Cape or Imbued God Cape to use on their own, but I do plan on retrieving my Blessed Quiver to avoid blessing another one, even though Sunfire Splinters are dirt cheap at the moment. So that's enough pre-information. What about the actual information to be ready for sailing? This will be the second ever skill to be locked behind a quest like Herblore, being inaccessible until the Druidic Ritual. To start sailing as soon as it becomes available, you will need to do a quest called the Pandemonium. I normally don't tell people how to play the game, but for the love of God, please take the time to actually read and understand everything you're told, because this will serve as a tutorial for the new skill. After the quest, you'll receive an item called the Captain's Log. This is something you should definitely keep on you at all times when you're out in the ocean, as you could log your adventures and even keep track of what you're currently doing, so you avoid getting lost since things could get a little overwhelming at first. Right after the quest, you'll have access to shipyards. These are basically like player-owned houses, but you'll be able to customize your ship on a private instance. Because of that, there's no bank, and you'll have to bring all of your building materials with you. The blog says that in later levels you'll be unlocking ports that have more convenient access to these shipyards, so in case you need to build more things, your trips to the bank will take less time. I know it sounds like sailing could be trained the way construction is, but this will not be a way to train sailing, giving a tiny bit of construction experience instead. And due to the lack of a butler, I'm also quite certain that there won't be a new meta for construction training coming with sailing. With all of this information, I think we are ready to set sail. So we know how to start training sailing, but what about levels, materials, quests, and everything else you'll need to enjoy the skill at its full potential, or even before the endgame where the bulk of the new content will appear? Let's talk about what we need and how to make a little bit of profit before November 19th. We have a handful of quests which will come in clutch in one way or another, whether it be for new quest prerequisites or to unlock new ports. These are Children of the Sun, the Corsair Curse, Fremennik Isles, Royal Trouble, Lunar Diplomacy, Making Friends with My Arm, Son of the Elves, and finally the Pirate Beat subquest for Recipe for Disaster. Checking the minimap, you see docking points at every one of these locations these quests give you access to, and if you don't have them yet, the only lengthy one is Song of the Elves. All the other quests won't really take you that long to do. Up next we have skills. Jagex has given us this handy image in the latest blog, showcasing relatively high skilling stats, while attack, ranged, and slayer aren't really too absurd. Crafting and Hunter also seem to cap out at the beginning of the late game, but skills like 94 smithing, 93 cooking, and 92 woodcutting, construction, and farming, to mention a few, can look a little daunting for returning players. Keep in mind that these skill requirements are for you to fully experience everything sailing has to offer on release, but to give you some peace of mind, I'm pretty sure it will take you quite a while for you to reach islands and unlock materials of the highest requirements. I mean, I really don't think Jagex will give us trees that with a 92 woodcutting requirement on an island needing 20 sailing to access, so think of these as a long-term requirement. Let's talk a little bit about important items needed for the release of sailing, as well as giving you a small money-making guide from now until release. The most obvious set of materials we will need are all tiers of logs and their respective planks, almost all tiers of metal bars and their respective nails, and as for related items we got things like swamp tar, flax, cannonballs, swamp paste, and rope. I am personally buying 1,000 of each of these, as I'm sure prices will skyrocket, especially over the weekend when more people are able to get started with sailing. Unless you're looking to merch, you don't really need an insane amount of supplies, because like I said many times on stream, I don't really believe you'll be using these as supplies quickly. You'll be building up your ship, repairing it when it has taken damage, and to make new facilities. Part of sailing preparation is of course making money. If you already have all the materials you need and want to take advantage of all the people looking to do the same right before release, we have a few obvious activities you might want to do while we kill some time before the new skill. Since logs will be needed, pretty much all of them will go up in price even if it's by a tiny amount. You can chop regular trees behind the Lumbridge Castle, oak trees east of a rock, and then teak and mahogany trees in Privenus or the Isle of Souls. Remember to find a forestry world to chop the final 3 to enjoy an invisible boost in woodcutting if trained with up to a maximum of 10 people. To make money via planks, you can go to Auburn Vale, which is now the best sawmill next to a bank for you to take your logs and convert them into planks. For a more stationary approach, don't forget the plank make spell under the Lunar Spellbook, which I have mentioned in tons of my videos. You got the sawmill vouchers from the forestry shop, which you can buy with anima infused bark. And when you go to the sawmill or cast the plank make spell, 1 log will be turned into 2 planks as long as you have free inventory space. If you don't, the voucher will not be used. As for metal bars, remember that the blast furnace has the benefit of needing half the coal you would normally require to smelt mithril, adamant, and the rune bars, meaning you will save on supplies, therefore making a bit more profit. If you do this, don't forget a coal bag to spend less time loading coal on the furnace and more time making some sweet cash. At the time of making this video, nails of every type of ore have gone up in price quite a bit except for rune, and all of them appear to be profitable on the wiki when making 15 of them out of 1 metal bar. I would be a little more careful about this one since we don't really know how many we will need, so buying them in bulk could prove to be a little risky. In order to prepare for cannonball making, get yourself the double ammo mold from the Giant's Foundry. We will be able to make these for every tier of metal, including Dragon, so using your ammo mold at the new furnace will definitely be profitable for people looking to blast through bounty tasks when they have a high enough sailing level for better cannons. And finally, you could maybe do a little bit of Zulbra to look for items like flax and swamp paste, which are definitely not huge money makers since they are dirt cheap. However, even if they increase a few GP, you obtain them in bulk from the Money Snake, making them a little bonus when looking for uniques or the pet. The final thing to mention is not about money making, but how to not lose money. The market has been insanely crazy over the last few months, and I could not believe my eyes when I opened my bank in the morning I'm writing this script and seeing that it has now fallen under 10 billion GP. Every single PVM item has been going down, understandably so because people will be focused on sailing and not so much on PVM. If you worry about losing money, I'd keep an eye out for big items and their activity on the market, and you could sell some big ones if they keep crashing. This will be a bit risky because we don't really know if or when they will go back up in price, but I am not a financial advisor, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. Let's now go over all forms of experience gains, and I will briefly tell you how to engage with the new content we will have access to on release. Keep in mind that whatever you do, and when you're on your ship, you'll be able to interact with facilities inside to gain a bit of experience when out in the ocean. One example is trimming your sails for burst of speed. Port tasks will have you taking cargo from one port to another, or defeating dangerous sea creatures. When you get to your destination, you will drop off the cargo, gain experience, and you'll be ready for a new task. If you took a bounty task, you will need to report back when the creature has been defeated for your chunk of experience. The AFK way to train the skill is called the shipwreck salvaging. This does not require a task, and you will instead go to a spot in the ocean with a sunken ship. Deploy your salvaging hook to get some items for you to examine at the port for both experience and a little bit of loot for your efforts. The third one is called Barracuda Trials, and you can look at this as agility in the ocean. This will be the sweaty way to train, although it looks like this is not going to bring in a ton of rewards to balance out experience versus profit. We will have 3 of these on release, hopefully with more coming in the future. The last one is called the Sea Charting. Your captain's log will tell you where to go in order to discover new islands or unique things out in the ocean. And these discoveries will both fill your log as well as giving you some XP according to how difficult it is to get there. This will give people a sense of completion when exploring the ocean as carefully as possible. The final thing to mention about training that isn't necessarily sailing experience gains is that the higher the level, the better crewmates you'll be able to hire. Think of them as what butlers are to construction. You can hire your first crewmate at level 40, and you unlock better ones as you level up. It is not yet known what all of them will do and how they will behave on your ship, but it'll be very much worth your effort hiring them to make your time exploring a lot more convenient. So that's mostly it for the recent blog, but why are we leveling the new skill? Up next, I will talk about all the new resources and the monsters found on new islands, which will be a huge incentive for you to rush sailing and start making some serious cash with all of the new content on faraway lands. Let's begin with new trees. New areas mean new flora, and the update will bring with it jerboa, camphor, ironwood, and the rosewood trees. These have woodcutting level requirements of 40, 66, 80, and 92 respectively, meaning that we will have a new highest requirement for the woodcutting skill. Jerboa trees can only be used for fire making since they are not strong enough to be used in shipbuilding, and have XP rates similar to maple logs when used in fire making. The other 3 types of logs can be used in tandem with the fire making, fletching, and construction skills. We will also get the tree seeds for all of these, but more on that later, so you can plant at Fossil Island, the Avium Savanna, and a new hardwood tree patches at other islands. However, they will have slower respawn rate to reduce the effectiveness of 1.5 methods like teak trees. For some odd reason, I am more excited about new minerals coming into the game, and we will get lead, rubium, and nickel. Lead and nickel have requirements of 25 and 75 respectively, and rubium has 2 requirements of both 48 and 68. The reason for this is that you'll be able to mine 2 versions of this mineral similar to stackable volcanic ash and infernal shale deposits, which you can then turn into splinters. Lead and the nickel can be turned into the respective metal bars for shipbuilding. On the other hand, rubium will not provide metal bars, but rather be used when creating incendiary cannonballs for your ship's cannons. This will be especially useful for your bounty tasks when grabbing one from a port. On screen right now, you are seeing all of the new creatures we'll be able to fish via lantern fishing and the deep sea trawling. You'll be able to cook these fish for new food, and even for some ingredients when making brand new potions. Just like new meat coming from hunter rumors, some fish will have extra benefits when consumed, like overhealing, restoring energy, being able to use as combo food, and the marlin will be our new best in slot food, healing 24 HP automatically, as opposed to the delayed extra healing from moonlight antelope meat. Hunting is also being thrown into the mix, and we will get a new crab hunting activity. We will be able to catch red, blue, and the rainbow crabs, and just like fish, we will be able to cook them or use as herbal ingredients for powerful potions. Not only are we getting seeds for new trees, but a brand new farming method called the coral nurseries. Along hardwood tree seeds, we will get new seeds for hopped patches like flax, hemp, and cotton. The last 2 obviously being used in some form of shipbuilding. The more exciting ones are resources obtained from coral nursery, and with elkhorn, pillar, and umbral frog seeds, you'll get crops from the same name with a respective farming level. Their growth time will take a little longer than herbs, so these will surely go for a pretty penny on release. Not to make this video too long, new crops coming from farming can be turned into new materials with the crafting skill to create the ship sails and the fishing nets. You'll be able to make new blowpipes out of camphor, ironwood, and rosewood logs, and use up to mithril and adamant dart on them. I am also super excited about all the new potions coming into the game, like super fishing and super hunter potions to enhance your skills, extreme energy and extended stamina potions to never run out of energy, and the highest of this batch, the Armadillo Brew, which will heal HP, increase your ranged level, and reducing attack, strength, defense, and magic by a considerable amount. The final thing to mention for new skilling is all of the new food you'll be able to cook and their respective effects, all the new bars and cannonballs to pimp out your ship, new planks and parts you can make by combining other materials, and finally new items coming from the thieving skill. We got the descriptions for all of these, but only time will tell how easy they'll be able to obtain, and how much they will go for, and more importantly, how crucial they will be for ship building. For the last segment, we will take a look at new monsters coming with the release of Sailing, and some amazing items dropped to buy them as soon as players are able to explore the areas they will inhabit. Stay tuned for my future sailing videos to see how they will shape up the meta, since right now we only have information and we have yet to put them to the test. At level 45 Sailing, we have access to an island called the Great Conch. home of a new Slayer monster called the Griffin. They will drop a new item called the Horn of Plenty, and when charged with Griffin feathers, it has a 1 in 10 chance to double creatures caught, which consumes a charge. And even if it doesn't proc, it will consume a feather every 8 catches. When uncharged, it will give an invisible +2 hunter level boost, and when you charge it, this will go up to 4. The same species boasts a Griffin Slayer boss called the Shellbane Griffin, available at level 51. These will instead drop a new weapon called the Gleaming Rapier, a new mid-level stab weapon perfect for enemies weak to the style. I would wait to see if it's worth taking this detour before, let's say, the Moon's Apparel, since the Eclipse Moon is pretty painful to do with a zombie axe. An island called Yinsdale, accessible at level 73 sailing, will be home to another brand new type of creature called the Aquanite, which have been around the RuneScape 3 for quite a while. With a Slayer level requirement of 78, you can slay them for a brand new ranged offhand weapon called the Aquanite Hopper. When equipped, crossbows have a 10% chance to fire twice, but the second bolt will have less damage, accuracy, and the chances to proc a bolt effect. Note that you cannot proc a bolt effect twice in a single action. Also taken from RuneScape 3, we will have Lava Strike Worms inhabiting the Charred Islands, available at level 60 sailing. You'll need level 62 Slayer to kill them, and they will have 2 new drops. Strikeworm Bones providing 60 base prayer experience when buried, and 48 bone shards when broken down. But more importantly, Dragon Sheets used to level up your ship upgrades. Despite their low Slayer level requirement, these will be pretty hot on release because the Dragon Sheets used to enhance your boat. Lastly, another RS3 inspired edition are Frost Dragons. These have the highest sailing requirement of level 87 after landing at an island called the Grimstone. They will also drop Dragon Sheets, as well as Frost Dragons giving 100 base experience and being broken down into 84 blessed bone shards. These will be the 5th best bone in the game, only behind Hydra, Dagonoth, Orc, and Superior Dragon Bones. Oddly enough, they don't have a Slayer level requirement like the other creatures, so even non-Slayer enjoyers will be able to kill them for their uniques. In conclusion, I cannot wait for the biggest update in the history of Oldschool Runescape, and if you made it this far, remember that I'll be streaming for 24 hours on release, and go live anywhere between 8 and 12 hours a day as we become the first 99 sailing haver in Mexico. Hopefully. So sailors of all ages, we come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching and making it this far. If you did, leave a comment below telling me what you think of sailing and if you're ready to go hard or not, and if you do so, include the term RSN and your username in your comment, and you'll be entered in our weekly bond giveaway for which we will pick a winner on Friday's stream. I want to give a massive thank you to all the channel members you see on screen. Your support goes a long way and my family and I cannot thank you enough for it. If you like what I do here and enjoy the content, click the join button below to subscribe monetarily and receive a ton of cool perks in the videos, in the live streams, and of course in the Discord for a monthly fee. In the next one, we will look at an Iron Man gear progression video, as well as talking about the new items coming from sailing if it's worth picking them up. But for now, I hope you have an amazing day, have an amazing week, and I will see you then. Peace.